Okay, today we're going to have a quick review of what thumbnail drawings are and how to do them. So in ceramics, we're getting ready to design our first project that we are going to be completing all the way through firing and glazing. So we have our paper for our tile relief project. We have our definitions that we've written down, and now we want to think about our idea. So in my thumbnail and my final tile project, I'm going to be doing frogs. So I'm going to do one big frog and I'm going to do some baby frogs around it on my tile. So what I want to do first is I want to draw 4 different ideas. So my 4 different ideas are going to be with the same subject, which is frogs, because that's what I definitely know that I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to do my 4 different thumbnails on here, and they should be quick. Thumbnails should take maybe a minute or 2 minutes each, okay, tops. So we're just going to do some quick ones. Okay, so I'm like, okay, what if I do a square format? Okay, I'm gonna put my big frog here. I'm gonna have my reference photos out to look at, and he's gonna have his legs folded up like this. And see how fancy my drawing is? It's not, right? This is just supposed to be an idea. Okay, so here's like one frog like that. Wow, that's an amazing drawing, right? And maybe I'm gonna put a couple little baby frogs off to the side over here, you know, like, oh, baby frogs. Okay, is that a fancy drawing? It's not. I'm just getting my idea down on paper. Now, what if I don't make it square? So what if I do something else with my frogs, like, oh, I'm gonna do a big leaf, you know, which would be very predictable and cheesy, but it's also cute. So now I'm gonna put my next frog on here and be like, frog, with maybe a couple little baby frogs off to the side. Okay, that's all right. Maybe I might want to do that, I'm not sure. Okay, now I'm going to do another one like, okay, what if I do a square one where it's like, here's the big frog. So see how I'm doing 4 different ideas, but they're the same subject, right? So here's my next one, and then I'm going to do like some little baby frogs, maybe like that, like they're in a row, following them off. And then maybe I'm going to come over here and maybe do another square one, and maybe I want to do 2 big frogs like that. Okay, so thumbnails are quick. They are idea drawings. It's for you to think about layout, composition, how you're going to arrange everything. And then maybe I'll do a little cluster of baby frogs like that. Okay, because then you know I want to have my little baby frogs in here. Now I'm going to look at these and I'm going to be like, I think that maybe like something like this is what I want to do for my final one. So now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw a full size thumbnail drawing of what my final one's going to look like. So I need another piece of paper, and our tables are a little bumpy, so I may want to get a drawing board to put underneath so that I don't have bumpy marks on my paper, because this drawing I want to be more precise. So now I'm going to get a ruler and I'm going to measure my minimum size, which is 6 by 6 inches. Okay, if I'm doing something that is not square, it's got to have about the equivalent area of 6 by 6 inches. Okay, so I'm going to scooch this off to the side, but I'm still going to have it out so I can look at my thumbnail drawing that I circled. That's the one I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to take my paper, I'm going to take a ruler, and we have these out all the time, and I'm just going to measure 6 inches, which is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, right there. So I'm going to measure and mark 6 inches. Now I am lazy, and so I am going to use 2 sides of the page for my square edges, and I'm going to mark both sides of the paper at 6 inches to make sure that what I'm drawing is going to be actually square, because I can totally use this as a template when I'm making mine. Now I can also mark my 6 inches right here, and then down here, so that the thing I'm drawing is actually square. Now on this drawing, I'm going to get much more detailed and precise. Okay, so here's my big thumbnail. So I have out my small one to look at, and then I have my reference photos. Okay, now I'm going to be more specific and more careful with my drawings. looking at all my reference photos, including these tiny detail ones of the baby. I have an up close view of the frog's face from a side view and a front view. I also have the whole body of the frogs that I'm gonna use. So I think I'm gonna be looking at this one right here, okay? Even though I'm sure that's the female and that's the male, because in frogs, the female's bigger, okay? But regardless, that's what I'm looking at to work from. So I'm gonna have all my things out that I'm using. And now I'm gonna start drawing a better, cleaner drawing of the frog that I'm gonna be doing. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm going to get more specific, and I'm gonna be thinking about placement and everything else. Okay, so now I'm gonna be like, okay, frog face is gonna be like this. And this can still be fairly sketchy, but we wanna be accurate with our shapes and forms that we are making. Okay, so I'm gonna come like this, and I'm gonna get it kind of pointed, and I'm looking at all my different frog faces. So the nose is about there, and it's gonna have a raised kind of edge, right? And then I'm gonna have my frog eyes like this. So I'm getting much more detailed now. Okay, so then I'm gonna have the legs that are gonna come this way. And they taper out and have almost more of a point at the knee. So you can see the precision and balance changes dramatically once you get to your final drawing. So now from here, these are gonna fold this way, and then I'm going to have the like hook-like claws that you can see. So I'm gonna get very specific on my frogs now. And this one's gonna curve out here, and that one's gonna be there because it kind of tucks behind the frog's body. Okay, now drawing for sculpture is different than drawing for just, you know, regular artwork, because what we are concerned about is, am I gonna be able to create this form as accurately and like three-dimensionally as it looks? And so I'm paying attention to the details that are gonna have to do with getting the correct volume of the body and things like that. Okay, and so already right here, I'm like, I need a detail picture of that area of a frog's body to make sure that those things are accurate. So before I finish this drawing and start my project, I'm gonna have to go back and look for photos that are gonna show that part of the frog's body more specifically, so that I'm sure that I have accurate, basically, frog butt. And so I'll have to do that. Okay, and then I'm gonna have the arms. See, and I'm looking at this going, I think I want an overhead view of a frog's body so I can get arm placement correct. Because I'm looking at this thinking, like, I'm not sure what the angle needs to be. And so I will sketch these in, and then I'm gonna go back and get another picture, an overhead picture of a frog, so that I can be sure that these are correct. And so looking at this one kind of folding back a little bit, I may wanna try moving those arms out that way a little so that I can have it be correct. And I can see this back middle toe is much longer than the front toes. And so I want to be accurate to that and make sure that I have all my arm structures that I'm gonna need. So I'm gonna leave this for now, and I will come back and get a more accurate photo of that later. I also think I need to taper the body a little bit more in like that. But once again, I need that overhead view of that before I finish those. Now, I'm gonna come in here with the babies, and I'm gonna draw my little babies in, and I'm gonna do some different leg positions so that those babies look very natural. And so I'm gonna think about my placement of those and be like, I think I want one to be right here. And I'm thinking about scale and size as I'm doing this to make sure that my frog babies are gonna be the right size and shape. And so I'm gonna get all of those things drawn in very accurately.